Hi guys, let's take a flick through Grand Tournament 2021 for 40k. Okay, so let's take a look. So Grand Tournament 2021, it updates match play tournament play basically, with new secondaries, and it's all in this lovely book. I think this book's great because it also has like a rule summary in there, how to set your games up, how to roll for them, so on and so forth, how to play a game properly. But this is where your changes are coming for secondaries. So battlefield supremacy, engaging all fronts, 2 victory points at the end of your turn if you're one or more enemy units wholly within 3 different table quarters, and then 1 6 inches away from the second centre of the battlefield, 3 VPs instead if you have 1 or more units from your army wholly within each table quarter. Okay, behind enemy lines, score 2 victory points at the end of turn if one of your enemy units is wholly within your opponent's deployment zone, score 4 points instead of 2 or more units. Stranglehold, score 3 victory points at the end of your turn if you control 3 or more objective markers and you also control more objective markers than your opponent. Okay, that's an interesting one. Stranglehold's quite good, isn't it? No mercy, no respite. No prisoners. If you select this objective, keep a tally of kill points each time an enemy model is destroyed, unless that model is a vehicle, monster or character, at the number of marks this tally equal to their wounds characteristic. The model can, if it can resurrect for any reason, it potentially has this tally several times. Okay, at the end of the battle, divide your kill points by 10 and round down. This is the number of VPs you score. So things like Scarab bases now are giving you 4 ticks to that tally. Okay, that's interesting. Grind them down, 3 VPs at the end of the battle round if more enemy units and friendly were destroyed. Fair enough. To the last. Okay, if you select this objective, then before the battle, after you've selected deployment zones, identify which 3 units from your army, excluding the fortification, have the highest points value and make a note of them in the army roster. If your army has 3 or fewer units, you instead identify all units in your army. Okay, a unit's point value includes the points for all of its weapons, war gear and upgrades. Score 5 victory points for each of these units that are on the battlefield at the end of the battle. Okay, that's quite interesting, isn't it? Okay, and then obviously there's less VPs there if some of it's left. So to the last, quite interesting, things like Necrons and stuff like that, so stuff that's really hard to kill. Things like Nightbringer, for example, only take 3 wounds a phase. That's pretty good. Okay, Shadow Operations. Raise the banners high. So, raise banners action. Score 1 victory point at the end of your command phase and 1 victory point at the end of the battle for each objective marker on the battlefield that has your banner raised upon it. Fair enough. Investigate the signal. Score 3 victory points each time a unit from your army successfully completes following active action. Investigate signal. 1 infantry unit, excluding character units, can start to perform this action in a move phase if it's wholly within 6 of the centre of the battlefield. Okay, no enemies are wholly within 6 of it, barring aircraft. This action is completed at the end of your turn, provided the unit attempting is still within 6 of the centre of the battlefield. Okay. Score 3 VPs each time a unit does that. Okay, that's quite good, isn't it? Retrieve Octarius data. Okay, so keep a tally of retrieval data points, add 1 to the tally each time a unit from your army successfully completes the following action. Retrieve data. 1 infantry unit, excluding characters, can perform this action in the move phase if it is wholly within a table quarter that has not had a servo score retrieved by your army. Okay, fair enough. This action is complete at the end of your turn. At the end of the battle, score 4 victory points if your retrieved data tally is 2, 8 victory points if it is 3, and 12 if it is 4. So that's replacing deploy scramblers, isn't it? That's quite an interesting one. Deploy teleport homers. So again, it's an action there. Keep a tally. 1 infantry or biker unit from your army can perform this action at the end of a movement phase if it is within 12 of the opponent's deployment zone. The action is complete at the end of your next command phase, well, that's quite a while, providing the unit attempt is still wholly within 12 of the enemy's deployment zone. Each time a unit from your army successfully completes this action, score 2 VPs. You score 4 victory points instead if the unit completed this action while wholly within your opponent's deployment zone. Okay, fair play. Interesting little changes, aren't they? Pairs the enemy. So we've got Assassination, 3 VPs at the end of the battle for each enemy character that is destroyed. If the Warlord was destroyed during the battle, gain 1 additional VP. Titan Hunter, 4 VPs at the end of battle for each Titanic model destroyed, 9 if 2 enemy Titanic models are destroyed, or 15 if 3 or more are destroyed. Okay, take that against Knights. Bring it down, score 1 victory point at the end of the battle for each enemy monster or vehicle with a wounds characteristic of 10 or less that is destroyed, and 2 VPs for a monster or vehicle with a wounds characteristic of 11 to 19 that is destroyed, and 3 if they have a wounds characteristic of 20 or more. Okay, that's quite interesting. Warpcraft. Abhor the Witch. You cannot select this secondary objective if your army includes any psychers. Okay, score 3 VPs at the end of the battle for each enemy psyker character unit destroyed, and 2 VPs for every other enemy psyker unit that is destroyed. Okay, so yeah, Sisters of Battle, be taking that then. Warp Ritual. If you select this objective, keep a tally of ritual points, and it's all based off the Warp Ritual psychic action. One psychic character unit from your army can attempt to perform this action in your psychic phase if it is within 6 of the centre of the battle. At the end of the battle, score 3 victory points if your ritual tally is 1, score 7 if it's 2, and score 12 if it is 3 or more. Pierce the Veil, again, so it's 8 victory points at the end of the battle if 1 or more units from your army successfully completed the following psychic action 2 or more times during the battle, or 15 if they did it 4 or more times. Okay, fair enough. While within 6 of the battlefield, opponent's battlefield edge, and more than 6 from enemy models. Yes, that's you saw it. He didn't do that when he played me with his guard. And then we've got Psychic Interrogation. Is again score 3 VPs each time you successfully complete the following psychic action. Psychic Interrogation. 1 psychic character unit from your army can attempt to perform this action in your psychic phase if it is within 24 inches of a visible enemy character. Fair enough. So some interesting changes there. They've got rid of a few tweaks, if you haven't, they, and changed that. So yeah, which one do you think you're going to take for your army? Let me know. Let's have a quick look at the actual missions. So there are actually, loads of them. So Incursion, we've got Crossfire, Resupply, Raid, Centre Ground, I've seen it before, haven't we? Ascension, Forward Push, there's loads, Rise of the Machine Spirit, Show of Force, Reconnaissance Mission, cool Drukhari artwork, Strike Force, Retrieval Mission, Scorched Earth, Vital Intelligence. That's the one. You try setting that board up. Just try it. Surround and Destroy. Battle Lines. The Scouring. Overrun. Sweep and Clear. Yeah, so the missions haven't really changed. Have the priority target. And then obviously you've got at the back, how to play 40k. It's a sort of summary of your rules and your data sheets and so on and so forth, which is, this book's brilliant. I highly recommend. So there we go, that's the Grand Tournament 2021 mission pack. Quick flick through for you, so I'll look at the new secondaries and the missions in there. Highly recommend this book, 20 Plays 40k. This is literally the only book I take with me now to a game, because it's got everything I need in it. So I hope you enjoyed it, guys. Hope you enjoyed this video, and it's a bit of something different for this weekend. Wherever you are in the world, stay safe, stay well, and happy hobbying.